I divorced a man that I know I will still love until the day that I die. Welcome to my hell. I don't talk about this like hardly ever on here. It's a quite painful subject that I'm still working through myself. But long story short, sparing all the details, I could not continue on the way that we were going for the rest of my life. That sure as hell don't mean that I did not love him and that I don't still love him. It means that I love myself and all of us, my daughter, my stepson, him, and me, more than the pain that it would cause us to all be miserable together. And Southern women love, we love hard. I did this for a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons was I didn't want my kids to look back and remember me as someone who I'm not. Someone who is sad and angry and cold and distant. I couldn't live with myself if they looked back on their childhood and associated those words with me, whether they know the whole story or not. It really don't matter, honestly. Like, as a mother, there were things that I was forced to deal with and accept that are not in my nature to deal with and accept. And because of that, it would have made all of us miserable. If the ship was going to go down, I wasn't going to bring everybody down with it. Now, this don't mean I'm not still sad and very angry and not still very much in love with the person and the life and the future that I thought that I was supposed to have. But it does mean that I know what real love is. Real love for others, like my children. Real love for a person that I hate a lot of times. And most importantly, though, real love for myself and a lot of self-awareness. Because when I can't function the way I'm supposed to function, I hold it in. And as much as I try to hold it all in, it ultimately spills over to the people closest to me. And it's not good. He wasn't worth all of us. His behavior and his actions were not worth all of us. The fact that I could not cope differently was not worth all of us. And I had to make a really hard decision. A choice that I live with every single day. I chose me. But by choosing me, I was still choosing all of us. And that was the best decision I could make at the time. I have the higher ground now. I can look back and I can see I wasn't equipped to continue on the way that we were going without a lot of negative repercussions for all of us. And I'm not the same person that I was then, though. I've proven personally to myself so many things. And I would be way more equipped to handle situations like that. But I'm also way more equipped to know that I shouldn't have to. But that person that I was then, she was not able. And even though I'm years out of our separation and our divorce, I still can't see myself with anyone else. Now, I know I need to try harder because I do deserve that kind of love from someone who really does love. I know it's not going to look like what I thought it was going to look like, and I may never find it, honestly. But at least I know what I am made of and what my kids are worth and what I am worth. Although, unfortunately, that doesn't really bring me very much peace. I have peace knowing that I respect myself and I know what love is. I divorced a man that I know I will.
Okay, okay, guys. Let me tell you something. She's full of shit, guys. She's full of shit, and I have to say that so that you guys can understand. This is another woman who destroyed her family, guys, because her selfishness, you know what I mean? And now she's making videos on TikTok. She's probably like, I didn't check her account, but I'm quite sure she's a self-help coach and she's a divorce coach, and aka she called motivational speaker, you know what I mean, a healing coach. I know, bro. I know for a fact she's one of those things, right? She left her husband, she left somebody that she loved to be alone and love herself and and respect herself and care about herself, and do it for herself. Now, here's what bothers me, guys. What bothers me is everything that she's talking about, her, putting herself first and loving herself, can be done with the person that she loves. Like, it can be done with the ex-husband. It can be done without, the tragedy of the divorce. Because, guys, divorce, no matter how these women come on TikTok and try to romanticize divorce and make it seem like, it's something that, we should be nonchalant about it, bro. Like, they lying to themselves and they lying. And that's the reason why they're making these videos, because they want to convince themselves that they're the heroes of their stories. They want to convince themselves that they made the right choice. I always say this, guys. You can always work things out, work on yourself while you have a partner. That's not impossible, guys. It's not impossible. But they make it seem like it's impossible. They make it seem like, there's no way you can work on yourself, when you have a partner. Like she said it. I didn't say it. She said it. I divorced the man that I love. Not that I loved, that I loved. She said she still loved that man. And she's making a bunch of excuses. She's like, if I was this person today in a marriage, I would have handled it very well. No, you won't, because you haven't changed, ma'am. You haven't changed. Because we can see that you haven't changed. You know why we can see that you haven't changed, and we know why you didn't change. It's because you're like any other woman. We see the pattern. Like, you're just like any other woman who comes to social media and talk about, I chose myself, I put myself first, my happiness first. I don't care what the divorce does to the kids. I don't care what the divorce does to our families. I don't care what the divorce does to the ex-husband. I don't care. I don't even care what it does to me. All I know, I want to live my life the way I want to, because society told women that you can live your lives the way you want to, and you can't. To be honest, bro, like, you can't live your life the way you want to. You can't, bro. There's rules in this world. You understand what I'm saying? There's people involved in your life. When you have kids, you cannot be out here, bro, with kids and leave them at home and go to a club and say, that's your life, and go to a club and leave your kids at home. No, bro, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. You have to be there for your kids, because they are your kids. You understand? There's certain things that you cannot do in this world, because that's just how things are. There's certain things that I cannot do. It's not like just because I'm a man I can do whatever I want. You know what I mean? There's certain things I cannot do. But because women are told that, you can do whatever you want. You can leave your husband and focus on yourself and work on yourself. Why didn't you work on yourself when you were with your husband, bro? Why didn't you think of all this work? This self-work. Why didn't you think of it when you were still with your husband? You only thought of those things when you divorced your husband. And I also blame the therapist, dog. The female therapists. I blame them, bro. I blame them. The divorce lawyers. I blame them, especially the female divorce lawyers, because they also on social media, promoting divorce. They're also on social media. You can go look them up, bro. Actually, I want to do a series of them. I want to do a series of them, guys. But anyway, that's it for today. My name is RJ Godfella, and this is the RJ Godfella Chats. Now, if you like this type of content, please hit the subscribe button and hit the like button as well. Peace, I'm out.